Hi, and welcome to the Mirrix Tapestry and Bead Looms weekly Friday video. Today we're going to talk about warp coils for bead weaving on the Mirrix loom.
You forgot to tell them who you are, though.
I'm Elena, Marketing Director.
And I'm Claudia, President. And every time we try to do this video about warp coils, we crack up. So if we crack up, we're just going to crack up because I don't know what it is about warp coils, but they're so funny today. Okay.
So the first question I want to ask you is, what size warp coils come with which looms?
Okay, we're going to get through this. The two baby looms, the ones that don't have shedding devices, the mini Mirrix and the Laney loom, both come with 14 dent coils. You can buy additional coils on the full range of sizes from 8 to 22 for the Laney loom. For the mini Mirrix, you only get the one that comes with it. We don't sell additional ones. The other looms, 12 to 38, come with... Oh, I happen to have a bag of them right here.
How convenient.
Four warp coils. I'm putting them in the bag so you can see their size differences. The smallest one is a size 8. The next one is a 12, and the next one is a 14, and the biggest one is an 18 dent coil.
So as you can see, that warp coils are just springs.
Yeah, they're springs,
and their job is to separate your warps.
Right. So we can put on the top of the loom, and I'll show that in a second. The longer your spring, the more dents you have per inch. The dents are the spaces between the coils.
Like a dent?
Okay, like a dent, yeah. So, are you going to be the one who holds the loom? Could you hold the loom, please?
Sure.
Okay, so the way you put them on your loom is you hook it over the nut on top of the loom, and then you hook it on the other one. And there you go.
Easy, huh?
Nope. Okay, next we want to talk about how do you know what size warp coil to use with which size bead? Because we're talking about warp coils in terms of beads now, not tapestry. It's really simple. Oh, actually, I want to tell you, you know what? How do you, if you can't remember what I told you about the size of these coils, how do you know what size a coil is? Well, you put it on the top of the loom like I showed you, and you take your ruler.
How convenient you had that one.
I know, isn't that wonderful? And you measure an inch while it's on the loom, and you count how many dents are on the inch. This one should have 18 because it's the 18 dent coil. Okay?
That's easy.
That is really easy. Now we want to talk about bead size. Okay?
Well, how you determine what size coil you're going to use for what project you're
just
making.
as easy.
And this is probably one of the biggest questions we get here.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh. You get more email than I do, apparently. But yeah, no, people are always asking me. So now this is the answer. These are delicas. I have put them on a needle. And I have put an inch worth of delicas on a needle. And then I measure it. And I count how many delicas are in an inch. And in fact, there are 19 delicas in an inch. I always thought there were 18, but they're actually 19. So you determine how many beads are in an inch, and then you go one size down. Our coils are 2 dents apart. So if there are 19, you use an 18 dent coil. I always thought, and I feel kind of stupid about this, I always thought there were 14 size 11 O beads in an inch. As I was measuring things for today's video, I found out there are actually 16. So there are my 16 11 O beads right here. You want to go one coil down because you have to factor in the fact that I'm making a complete mess, that the coil itself is taking up space. So if you have 16 beads in an inch and you use a 16 dent coil, your coil is going to be spaced too far for it. So go down, again, one size down, 14.
And there's some fudging too.
Yeah, I mean, you don't.
It doesn't have to be, excuse me, perfect.
Right, because if you have, you discover you have, you need a 16 dent coil, you could actually use an 18 or 14. It's okay. I know people who use the 16 dent coil to weave delicas. When they do really wide pieces, they find that's better. These are size 8 beads, and they're 13 per inch. So you would, 13. So you'd use the size 12 coil. That's basically how it works. Measure, put your beads on a needle, count how many are in an inch, go down one size. That'll work. Easy. And don't panic if you don't have exactly the right coil. Try to use one that you have. We don't want you to waste your money on a new coil or have to wait for it. Right?
So you just have to remember that it doesn't have to be perfect. And that
Close is good, but yeah, it doesn't have to. And don't use a spring that's too big. Don't ever use a spring that's too big. That would be a problem. Using one that's smaller wouldn't be. Another thing, Lainey.
it just needs to work.
And when your warp is under tension, you can separate the spring a little on the top of your loom if you don't, or push it together a little if it's not exactly the right size. The rule of thumb, though, is that the wider the piece, the more you really do want to get exactly the right spring. So again, put your spring on the loom to measure what size spring it is. Put your beads on a needle to measure how many you have in an inch. And that's all you need to know. Right?
Easy.
Okay. Bye.